I move the motion. I'm sharing time with Deputies O'Brien, O'Snoddig, Donnelly, O'Leary and Mitchell, and I'm taking 5 minutes. Minister, yesterday thousands of taxi drivers took to the streets in protest. Nose to tail, they filled 4 lanes around Merrion Square and every inch between there and Ballyfermot. It was an incredible display of solidarity and strength, but it was a last resort for them, and it was born out of absolute frustration. I want to take the opportunity to commend the organisers, the 4 taxi representative groups, the Taxi Alliance of Ireland, the National Private Hire and Taxi Association, the Irish Taxi Drivers Federation and Tammany Taxi na hÉireann. Yesterday's protest was an event of unprecedented scale, and it was born out of absolute frustration at an unprecedented time. The 4 representative groups make 5 demands of government. Specifically, they want 1. A financial package to help taxi drivers get back to work, a package that recognises that the current one-size-fits-all approach by government is wholly inadequate for those sectors worst affected by COVID, and this is particularly the case for drivers who work for themselves. 2. They want a retention and continued access to bus lanes and quality bus corridors. 3. A moratorium on the issuing of taxi licences and a buyback scheme. 4. A 2-year extension to the 9-year rule. And 5. The disbandment of the Taxi Advisory Committee and the establishment of a National Transport Forum. 5 demands, but 3 issues as I see them. 3 core issues are at the heart of the taxi drivers' protest and at the heart of the Sinn Féin motion. Recognition, respect and support for a sector which provides an essential public service and which has been devastated in a very particular way by COVID and the restrictions that come with it. Taxis provide an essential service in our transport network. Many people with disabilities rely on taxis on a daily basis, for example, for school transport runs or for trips to and from scheduled services or just to get from A to B. The same goes for essential healthcare staff and goods. Taxi drivers work 365 days a year, 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. And that's a statement of fact. Taxi drivers should be recognised by government and feel recognised by government for the essential role they play in our transport services. Government should ask themselves why they don't. They're regulated and licensed by the NTA, carry the Transport for Ireland sticker on their vehicles. So why is it that they don't feel recognised? Why is it that they don't feel respected? The answer is in fact that they can point to where they have been excluded, isolated and ignored. Their call for the disbandment of the Taxi Advisory Committee is an example of that, as is the handling of the phantom proposal in relation to bus lanes. I'm glad that the Taoiseach clarified that particular issue yesterday in the Dáil when he said it was not on the agenda. Along with the Minister, he will be held to account on that. But it's a case in point. Taxi drivers have been excluded from decisions about their own industry and their own future, and that's completely unacceptable. And they're at the end of their tether. Work has completely dried up. The industry is entirely dependent on the movement of people, of a busy Crow Park, a busy airport, busy nightlife, gigs and festivals, and busy businesses. All of that is gone. And as a result of that, coupled with the wholly inadequate supports provided by the state, thousands of drivers are struggling to make ends meet. Or to put it bluntly, Minister, they cannot make ends meet. Fixed costs have remained in place. The NTA themselves estimate that those are in the region of €15,000 per year. Many taxi drivers have been left with little or no income for 6 months. If they're lucky, they're on a reduced COVID payment and eligible for a €1,000 grant support. This bearing in mind, they might be expected to pay €40,000 for a new vehicle on the 1st of January next year, and they're watching more and more people coming into the sector as licences are being given out and diluting the available work. So I look forward to this important debate. It needs to mark a step change in government engagement and support for the sector. I would urge other members to support the motion, which reflects the drivers' concerns and the calls on government to step up and recognise the important part taxi drivers play in our transport system.
Deputy, now just